You feel this nervousness on the phone there?
Sir, I've been trying to make an urgent phone call up there.
Well, I don't think it's something I want to do on an overseas phone.
You gotta make some phone calls. Hang up the phone. Prank caller. Prank caller.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome once again to Packernet After Dark. This is the call-in show of the Packernet Podcast Network. If you'd like to call in, if you'd like to participate in the show, please feel free to do so. The phone number here is 608-501-0718. New callers go directly to the front of the line. As I tend to do when new big stuff happens, I want to go in reverse order, just make sure we got everything. There's probably a lot of calls here that are, they're prior to the pick. We got a bunch of calls from Wednesday and whatnot. So we'll go in reverse, and we'll see where we're at with that.
Ryan, Beer Chief Benny here.
Yo.
I just want to say, man, how freaking incredible that draft was. Seeing it on TV, I literally have regret. I'm like, man, I should have just dropped the thousands of dollars, or not thousands of dollars. I should have dropped the money to get the plane ticket to just go. I should have done it, man. I should have just went with my family, and I mean, granted, I have a 16-month-old son. I mean, like, he wouldn't have gone. He would have stayed with the in-laws or my parents. But I would have went with my buddies. I have so much regret. How insane is it? Green Bay, Wisconsin, a population of, 101,000? There was more people there than actually live in Green Bay. They were saying they had to turn people away from general admission because they were at max capacity. And then there was people inside of Lambeau, which was freaking sweet. And they had, like, the Jumbotron. One of my buddies was there inside the stadium. And, like, they were watching it from, in Lambeau Field on the Jumbotron. I mean, that is just so cool. Honestly, it would be nice if they had a bigger Jumbotron, like how Miller Park has. Or the M-Fam Clam, as I like to call it. But anyways, dude, it was just incredible, and you heard everybody talk about it, and I mean, obviously you were there, so you have a better kind of scope of things, but I'm just so freaking proud of my home state and my freaking Green Bay Packers. I'm getting emotional, man. I'm like, oh gosh, for real, man. Like, the whole thing yesterday was just, it was a dream, man, and I wish I could have been there, but it's all right. It's all right. At least I enjoy it, man, and watching it. But I'm very much more excited for day 2 because I think this is where it's going to get way more interesting and way more fun.
That's where all the value is, man. By the way, there's still day 2 and 3 if you want to make an impulse decision here. You know, you can still make it out there. Yeah, I'm jacked, man. I'm kind of bummed that it doesn't start till 6. I'm sitting like, what the heck am I going to do with my time here? I'm ready to rock and roll, you know. There's a lot of work to do, though. I need to be watching some film, putting together myself a little big board, I think, a day 2 big board I'm going to put together. We'll get Cullen's big board set up. We were kind of going through his board yesterday, kind of crossing people off as they came. Obviously, his top guy went to the Packers, which is great. But plenty of work to do, I guess. But I'm chomping at the bit, man. I'm ready, and I'm kind of ready for the atmosphere too, the excitement of the draft to start and all the. It was such a fun thing yesterday, and I missed a lot of it. We were driving home, and I'm trying to keep up, and then by the time I got back, I'm kind of behind, and I'm trying to what do I want? I'm ready to make sure I have all my stuff up and ready, and all the resources I need, and all the good stuff. So hopefully, be a little bit more prepared today. But, yeah, there's a lot of time here, man. It is 9:18 in the morning right now, and I am in pain. I am tired. Went to bed late. Got up for some reason at 6, just snapped awake. My body hurts, partially just from being on my feet and walking around so much. But that little spill on the 40 was a little bit more impactful on the old bones as I thought, maybe. I at the time, I was like, it's fine. Like, it didn't hurt. I mean, it's kind of like a cushion, little soft padded area. It's fine, no big deal. And now my knee's all jacked up. Like, holy crap! I guess I did some damage there. So trying to get the fluids in. Freaking pathetic. I got to start training for a marathon or something. I can't just accept this as my fate. Like, oh, I guess we're old now. Like, nah, dude. No, we're not doing that. I walked for a few hours, and now give me a break. That's not how we're going out. But yeah, got some Matthew Golden tape to watch. Gonna go back and find out what other people have been saying about him, and then we got some day 2 grinding to do. Might even need to get started on day 3, just because day 3 is such a massive day that I haven't even really begun on. So kind of starting to put that together might be a pretty good idea. So keep myself busy here as I wait for a very exciting day 2. Hopefully, I'm jacked. Because again, like I said, this is where a lot of people were saying everybody wanted to trade back because there's the top tier elite guys, and then there's just like a huge pile from 20 through 50 or 60 or something where there's just a ton of really good guys. And not to disparage Matthew Golden, but he's kind of like the top of a big pile of talented guys. So you kind of expect a big drop-off. I don't think that there is. There's kind of a ton of late first, early second type of talent probably going into the third round. Hopefully to the back of the third round. We'll see how that pans out, but that's where I forget who said it, but somebody had made the comment that in this particular draft, you're hoping to walk away with like 2 or 3 solid starters, as compared to maybe some other drafts where that's not exactly the case, just because the top end talent might not have been there, but the depth of the talent is very deep this year.
Ryan, oh my gosh, man, listening to that Packernet, man, you played the pick again, and I just start crying, man. It's just so beautiful, man. Like, everything was just perfect. It was like a dream, man.
Yeah.
But I don't know why I get so emotional. I just love the Packers so much, man. And it just made me so, I already called about this, but it made me so proud, man, that, like, we did something like this. But what I wanted to say is Matthew Golden, what I love about him is his confidence. He's like, he knew he was going to get picked, and you could just tell from his interview that he's like, okay, now it's time to go. He's like, I'm ready to go in the NFL and show that this was the right pick for the Packers. And
well, he right after he got picked, apparently was asking if he could have access to the facilities to go work out. And apparently Gutekunst said he's technically not allowed, so they're going to have to deny him, but I'm sure there's a gym or something somewhere. I'm sure he can get to work. But it's really cool to hear. I mean, I didn't think too much of it at the time. I was like, oh, good for him. He's a worker, and that's cool. Gray Zabel, who got picked by Seattle, after he got picked, he's North Dakota State. He's a Tucker Kraft type of guy. And again, like, it's not – we would be laughing too. But after he got drafted, he said some kind of a comment about, like, I'm going to start smashing these Busch Lights or something. I mean, it's just, it really put into perspective how cool it is to have Matthew Golden when you got some guys that are back home with their boys saying, I'm going to get hammered tonight. And Matthew Golden is asking for access to the facility so he can go work out and start training.
Like, he's just, like, ready to go to work, and he's, like, he's not all, like, I mean, as much as I understand it, like, he wasn't all emotional and stuff. He's just like, you could tell he's like, let's go. He was just like, all right, hell yeah, man. And, like, I just love, he seems like a genuine dude who's going to work hard and, like, prove himself. Like, it's not enough for him to get drafted, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's not enough for him. He's just like, okay, well, now I'm in the NFL. Now I got to go show that they picked me and why they picked me. So I love this pick. What I love is he's so versatile. He can play anywhere on the field, like, in terms of slot or outside, all that kind of stuff. And it's going to bring a dynamic to our offense, I think, that we are lacking.
Yeah, I'm excited for him to get to work. I'm excited to I mean, it's not going to be that long before these guys start showing up and we get at least little tiny bits of this, that, or the other, hearing about, how he's doing, how things are going, or whatever. So very excited about that.
Ryan, I wanted to point something out that maybe some people didn't notice, or maybe you did, but you didn't think anything of it, but I thought it was hilarious. This whole draft was a total troll on the Bears. Clay Matthews, dude, in the beginning, when he was like, I got a message from Donald Trump. My fellow Americans, the Bears still suck. Dude, I freaking lost my mind. And then, this is the funniest part that people probably didn't realize, but the NFL was wasting the Bears' time with their first pick. They were just, like, making them wait longer. They had those little ladies come out, like,
it's the new schedule for the NFL. and then of course, okay, now they're going to get to the pick. And then, of course, which is fine. This is a good thing that they did. You know, they honored the former Bears player. I forget what was his name, Steve McMichael or whatever. But they just kept dragging it out, the first round pick. I'm like, this is amazing, dude. This is such a troll. I love it. But anyways, see you guys. We can't wait to hear everybody else's calls.
It was pretty funny, and in the back of my mind, I kept thinking about how it's like, the Bears are obsessed with the Packers 24/7, and we made this whole draft about trashing the Bears, which, it gives the Bears maybe a little bit more center stage than they deserve, but it is still funny. It's a great rivalry, and you got to take the opportunity to go after your rivals. And I'm sure some Packer fans would say, well, why don't you spend more time with the Lions because they were on top, or the Vikings? But I think there just needs to be an understanding that this is the rivalry. It's Packers Bears, and it's what you do in the draft. You get to celebrate yourself, but also put down your rivals and whatnot. Also, I mean, I'll tell you what, this was a pretty fantastic draft from the standpoint. I mean, you never know how Golden could be terrible, and all three of the other NFC North guys could be great. But just in the little bits that I've seen, these guys are kind of pissed. I mean, some Bears fans are okay with it, but there was a whole lot of like, what the heck? I mean, they thought they were getting Genty. They were talking about this. They were talking about that. And then of all the tight ends, some people were already talking about him being the better fit for the Bears or whatever, but he wasn't even, like, it was pretty unanimous that Tyler Warren was the better tight end, and they end up getting the other tight end, Colston Loveland. So, it's not going to be hard to find some clips of, like, what the heck? This did not go the way we thought. Vikings fans just pissed that, maybe the best corner in the draft fell to them. Will Johnson is right there. This was like the dream of Vikings fans, to get like Jahdae Barron or Will Johnson, some kind of a corner. And not only did they not pick him, which, it is understandable. Will Johnson obviously has some medical stuff that's pretty serious. He's falling into the second round. There's a chance the Packers could get him at the back of the second round at this point. I mean, I don't know how serious this is, but they're thinking this is it. We're going to get him. Is this thing? And they get an interior offensive lineman, a guy that was not even really. Maybe he was kind of expected to go in the first, but it is kind of a reach for an interior offensive lineman with a top corner on the board. I mean, it was very disappointing. It's not what they thought was going to happen. And then the Lions, I haven't really seen a lot as far as Lions coverage, but I don't think that went the way that they wanted it to go at all. Another reach, Tyleik Williams, who is a 334-pound nose tackle that provides zero pass rush, who was consensus 44 overall, with, pass rushers on the board, all kinds of stuff you could have done. Bunch of corners, you could provide some additional backup to your corner room with Reed there now. Even if you wanted to go defensive tackle, you could have provided somebody with a little bit more pass rush. And no, you get a big nose tackle that's a reach. So, yeah, I think the NFC North is not super happy today outside of the Green Bay Packers fans, which, again, is perfect. I mean, the Vikings have no picks, so they didn't trade back. They wanted to trade back, presumably to get more picks. They didn't. They stayed and took a guard. And now their draft is almost done. The Bears, I mean, I don't know, but, a tight end and then a nose tackle, this is not a banner draft for the rest of the NFC North so far. So I don't know that things could go too much better at this point. Why don't we take a break? We'll come back. We got Nico and Uncle Rico.
Oh, crap. Let me turn down the podcast. Okay. So, it's Nico from Idaho. We just got the pick. Matthew Golden. I'm really glad they went receiver because I think we need it. I've stated that in the past. Probably won't get played because, I know how the phone calls go before a big event. They get dropped. That's fine. Ryan, tell me what you think about Matthew Golden. He was one of the guys I liked. I liked Ibuka better. I think we still may get another one the next day or two, because I think there's some good receivers out there. Dude, if we had 2 good receivers, we're done. Anyways, I'm still watching the boys here live. I'm a little behind, but anyways, tell me what you think, Ryan. It's only a minute. Well, I have 2 minutes to kill. Hey, that's cool. Hey, go Pack go. I hope frickin' Golden is the dude. And you know what? If Christian comes back, who I love more than my own children, and can just stay healthy and run, oh my gosh, we could have a receiving core like none other. So here's to everything being the best. Although I will admit the Bears clearly won the draft today, because the Bears always win the offseason.
They won everything, yeah.
And even though the Bears still suck, if I was smart enough, I would have the song keyed up to play right now, but I'm not that smart. So yeah, I'm just glad what we got, and I think there's some stuff left over to have fun in the future. So hey, here's to Goody getting like 3 blue chippers, well, not blue chippers, but 3 really good starters, and here's to Edgerrin Cooper being healthy all year and just shredding every frickin' offense that he plays against. But he's my new guy. Getting a Cooper jersey soon, and go Pack go. By the way, still waiting on my Goot Liquor shirt. I did order one of those today that came available. Didn't quite get it yet, but I get it. Sometimes your perfection takes a while, but go Pack go.
Yeah, I'm kind of upset about that. I actually changed my providers for who makes the T-shirts, because that Teespring is notoriously slow. I felt bad. 1265 fan ordered it for the draft, and then they sent her an email saying, "Oh, sorry, there's delays and da-da-da." It's like, oh, come on, guys. You're killing me with this crap. So I do apologize. And, of course, I moved over to a new provider, and I was like, okay, we're going to move over here, and here's all the stuff. And everyone's like, nah, we're not buying those stupid shirts. So that's fine. I do want to start started looking into Matthew Golden designs, and I so far I hate them all, but I'm still working on it. I want to find something cool. My thoughts on Matthew Golden. I mean, I've talked about him quite a bit. Apparently, I'm definitely not alone on the fact that his 4.29 doesn't show up on the field. That's pretty much unanimous across the board from what I've been seeing. I mean, there's two things. While he runs a 4.29, he's fast, and then I watched him and I don't see that. He obviously has it, so the ability to get it out. I know Matthew Golden had made some kind of a comment about, I don't have to use my speed all the time, which makes sense. So you're not going to see it on every single route, but even when he's running like a go route or something, you'd kind of expect to see it a little more. So it's confusing, but I know he has it, so we'll have to figure that out. Interestingly enough, though, I think his biggest asset, aside from the speed that presumably is there, is the route running. That's one of the things that I really started to come around to, was his ability to just get open. And I think, kind of not using full-throated speed 24/7 is kind of to your benefit. Not on a go route or a post route or something like that, but and a lot of these other ones, I mean, going full speed is going to kind of make it harder for you to come out of your brakes and do stuff like that. So I do understand that, but I think you got a good route runner with real good hands and some speed in there somewhere. And so he has the potential to be the total package. Now it's just a matter of the Packers putting it all together and him getting to work with Jordan Love, and hopefully that all will come to fruition. I mean, there's no question there is some projection here with him, just like there is with pretty much everybody. For the people that were sort of, I just want to see a guy that had really high production, and I don't really care about the athleticism stuff as much. This was probably not the pick for you, but like I said, when it came down to it and the pick was ready to be made, I sat and I thought about it, and I'm like, Golden just makes sense. It just does.
Hey, this is Nico. I'm watching some golden highlights, and it looks like almost every long pass, he's underthrown.
Yeah.
And he has to come back to it to
Yes.
catch it, which then makes him get tackled or just land on the ground.
It is very annoying. I've said before, there's the one clip where looks like he's flying by people, and it's like, oh, finally, I can see the speed. He's behind both guys. He seems to be pulling away from them, and then frickin' Quinn Ewers, with his just ridiculous noodle arm, massively underthrows the ball, and he's got to hit the frickin' e-brake. It's like, come on, I just want to see it, dude. Let's go.
College. So maybe his potential is even better, because if the dude wasn't underthrown, a lot of those he would have just taken to the house.
Well, and that's a big part when you talk about production. Well, his production wasn't there. What could his production have been if these passes were better? First of all, he would have caught more passes, and that would come with yards, and that probably would have some touchdowns to it. But like you said, I mean, underthrows are massive, because if he threw it properly, not only does he catch it, but he adds on all the additional yards and probably touchdowns. Now, I mean, I can't say if you made every pass perfect, because that's unfair to everybody else, but I mean, if you just made it like average, yeah, I think the production goes up quite a bit.
So tell me what you think, if you've seen that too.
Yeah, no doubt.
Of course, Jordan Love's not the best guy for, leading a long...
Yeah, not underthrowing and
like
whatnot.
He tends to underthrow people too, but I don't know. I'm just so stoked about this pick. We'll see what we can do the next couple of days. Go Pack, go, boink.
Well, that's why they got to get to work. It's going to take some time to kind of judge the speed and for those two to get on the same page and everything. So I'm excited for those two to start working out together and hopefully get that all figured out. Maybe we can have a Christian Watson 2.0 where it's first play of the season. Just launch one down there to Matthew Gold and see how it goes. If that happens and he catches it, oh my Lord, that's going to be a wild situation.
Yo, Ryan, it's your uncle, Rico.
Yo.
Just finished watching the first round. I didn't get to watch it all, but I watched maybe from the 10th pick on. It's very exciting, very cool to watch. Looked like everybody in Green Bay was having a great time. I don't know if you made it. Hopefully you made it. Hopefully you're having a great time. Matthew Golden, I don't know. I hope he's something. Kind of concerns me that he's a little bit of a fragile looking guy. He needs some meat on his bones, so I don't know. I trust Goody, and I guess and a lot of people seem to be super happy about it, so I just am not excited when they kept putting his name up as one of the top available guys, and I kept thinking, no, I don't think so. I mean, I know everybody's got him on their boards and stuff, but I'm not on board with it. But hopefully I will be. Hopefully I will eat my words or whatever, and then he will be a quality pick. He'll catch on fast, but I just don't see it. I mean, I watched a few highlights, and it seems like he was wide open all the time, so it's kind of hard to tell if he can. They said he was good at contested balls, but I didn't really get to see him get any contested balls because he was always like uncovered or wide open. But I'll do some more digging. Anyways, go Pack, go. Hope you made it. I hope you're having a good time. I hope everybody's having a good time with the draft. It's exciting. Rico out.
That's part of the problem with highlights is they make everything kind of stupid. They show you stuff that's the same. Like one of my least favorites is watching them do highlights of corners because, it's just pics of clips of interceptions, and most of the interceptions are not that interesting because sometimes it's just the ball gets tipped to you and whoop-de-doo, and you don't really get to learn anything about that, so that's not really interesting. What I would remind you and everybody of is you can go to Packernet Podcast, YouTube channel, and find the cut up that I did of him, which is not just those kinds of stupid highlights. It was anytime, watching the All-22 that I thought he did something well. Plenty of contested catches, a lot of stuff off the line. Again, the thing that stood out to me the most, or at least the kind of checked those final few boxes, came at the end of the video, but check it all out. I think there's a little bit more substance to what you find in a typical highlight. I will say, though, some of the highlights seem to be getting better. And by better, I mean it's not this. I mean, when I type in highlights lately, I've been typing it in just to try to find some kind of like a hype video or whatever. And a lot of times it's film. Like it's like the film guys have taken over the highlight. They started calling their film stuff highlights, and it's like, this isn't really what I wanted. But it's probably a better highlight than it's the substance I need, not the substance I'm asking for right now. But yeah, go check that out. And it's all 22, so it's better than a lot of the, if it's not all 22, the hard part. Some positions it's okay, running back, offensive line, defensive line. The TV copy is pretty much adequate. Not really quarterback, but it can be fine for that. But wide receiver, it's kind of useless. You see them at the line, and then they disappear, and then you see them either catch a ball or not catch a ball. There's a lot missing there. So check him out, see what you think. I mean, again, he isn't just like, I don't think there was. I don't know who you had. I don't remember if you mentioned it or not as sort of your slam dunk. I didn't have a slam dunk. There were 0 slam dunks for me. So I'm not going to, defend him to the death here, because I obviously had some concerns, but there was nobody. There were 0 people we could have picked that I would have sat here and said, oh, that was the guy, including Tetaroa and McMillan. Now, I think obviously that was a better pick, and we're getting closer to something, but I mean, the speed is a problem. He's not a slam dunk prospect, I mean, you'd have to go as high as like Abdul Carter, Travis Hunter. Those are maybe like the 2 guys in the whole draft, in my opinion, that you could look at and be like, these guys are kind of slam dunks. And even Carter is like, he's a step up compared to a lot of the other guys, where you watch it and go, oh, okay, that's a really talented edge rusher. And I barely watched him. I watched him one time, but I don't think he goes in like the Myles Garrett camp, or the the J.J. Watt, or the Bosa camp, or like, you know what I mean? Like the slam dunk, like, I don't know. I don't know that Abdul Carter is even in that category. And Travis Hunter, I didn't watch a ton of. I've just seen mostly just cut-ups. He seems super impressive, but, the point is that there might have been a couple guys. Ashton Genty, fine. Fair enough. And possibly some of the offensive linemen, but those are always tough. I feel like every year there's a bunch of really good offensive linemen, and they just don't pan out. I don't know if it takes them a while to figure it out or what. But when you look at the group of guys that realistically could have been Packers, there's nothing. Michael Williams had serious problems. Jahdae Barron. Mike Green, who's still available, by the way. Shamar Stewart, obviously. Matthew Golden, Walter Nolan, Derek Harmon, Kenneth Grant. I mean, some of these guys, I know Derek Harmon was kind of seen as a slam dunk by some Packer fans, but it was far from a slam dunk for me. Ibuka, not even close. Or even Burden, who I was a big fan of, there's questions, there's issues, and he didn't go in the first round. Hairston is huge question marks. I think, as much as he felt like a slam dunk that the Packers would pick him, I had more concerns about Hairston than I think I do about Golden. So, I mean, again, it's kind of from this pick all the way through their second pick and hopefully the third and beyond. I think there's really solid options. All of them are going to have questions. We can pretend Jaden Higgins maybe didn't have any, but we're being silly. Or some of these corners or whatever. So I get it. I understand. I have my own reservations. Again, we'll dig into that a little later. I'm kind of just enjoying it at the moment. We're gonna enjoy the draft for a week or so, and then we'll kind of go back through and try to pin these things down, the positives, negatives, things that need to be worked on, etc. a little bit later. But I guess I would just say I wouldn't be too down on it. The Packers do a good job with wide receiver, period. Mid-round guys they've had success with. Second-round guys they've had success with. Maybe you could say this is more of a second-round pick because it's not a very top-heavy draft, but have some faith in the fact that this is the pick and the fit that they wanted. And let's remember, he was supposed to be gone. There was a time when they were talking he could go top 10, he could be the first one off the board. I mean, this was a big deal. And then that started to calm down. But even yesterday, like I said, when Teterow and McMillan went early, I said he's gone. He might be top 10. He's certainly gone by Dallas. There's no way. And he ended up making it to us, which I find really surprising. Dallas with one of the worst picks of the entire draft. I mean, he might be great. Again, you don't actually know, but people are putting together their metrics and whatnot, and obviously one of the more disappointing for a fan base that has been told over and over and over again, we're getting a weapon, we're getting Genty, we're getting Teterow and McMillan, we're getting all these guys, and they get some they reach on an interior offensive lineman. Just brutal. So, let's take some time and investigate. It's hard to do a ton of work on everybody, but once you draft somebody, now you can really focus your energy on studying that person a little bit. So, obviously that's what we're going to do here, but also it'll be easier for you to, rather than having to watch 500 different prospects, find everything you can on this guy and see what you think. See if you can come up with I don't want to say different opinion, like go figure it out until you're happy with him, but just, try to invest. I think you have to try to figure out why. Not only why did the Packers like him, but he's a consensus first-round pick. Why? You know what I mean?
Yo, Ryan, it's your Uncle Rico.
Ooh.
I've been watching the little Matthew Golden highlights, of course, There's never any lowlights. It's always the highlights. Yep. Anyway, I'm already...
I did make a low-light video of Trubisky back in the day. That was pretty glorious.
Warming up to him. He's got pretty good hands, it looks like.
Mm-hmm.
At least in the highlights, Catches all the balls in the highlights.
Go figure.
But either way, I remember listening to you talk about him and the 4.29, whatever the speed. Yeah, it's weird. I mean, he's wide open a lot, so I don't know if that has something to do with his speed, but he doesn't seem to run away from anyone when he's got the ball. So I kind of expected that with that kind of speed, he would be leaving people behind, but he doesn't really. You know what I'm saying? But either way, I'm warming up to him. I'm thinking that when Christian gets healthy, we'll have some stuff going on there with fast receivers. It'll be bad, as in good. I mean, a dog these days. I don't know what to say. Bad is good. A dog is good. Like back in the day, a dog was bad, especially with a woman. She's a real dog.
Yeah,
now
that's
I don't know
not
if
great.
that's good or bad. I'm not sure. Confused. Either way, Matthew Golden warming up. Go Pack, go.
You'll have to show me those highlights you're watching because I don't even usually see him get wide open. I've seen a couple. Like I said, there's that clip where he gets behind the two guys. There's the one that's the touchdown in overtime, kind of the game-winning overtime touchdown. And then there's the other one where he has to slow down. But generally speaking, and usually that's not, if you can find one of him in man coverage running past somebody, I'd love to see that. Because from what I've seen, when it's man-to-man coverage and the corner is running with him, it's stride for stride. So I don't know. I haven't seen him run past anybody. Run past people standing still, sure. When you catch a safety flat-footed and then he has to turn and try to run with you. I'm talking about at the line, it's man coverage. I just send it to me because I haven't seen that.
Ryan, what's up? Kyle from Madison. Happy draft day, and there it is, man. What a scene, huh? Mark Murphy with the suspenseful drop there. God, it's going to be really funny because all of the people that have been crying gnashing their teeth together for however many years now about wide receiver in the first round. The pick just came in a couple minutes ago, so I have not looked, but I'm willing to bet. I almost know it's certain that they're going to be mad. Like, yeah, but not that one.
Mm-hmm. There's a couple, you know.
It's for sure going to be the thing, but yeah, what a scene in Green Bay. My goodness. And look, man, I'll tell you what. I will not be surprised if Gutekunst double dips at receiver in the first 3 rounds. We've seen him do it with multiple positions, and you know, if I'm Brian Gutekunst, basically, you know, Ed policy's coming in. I don't think Gutekunst is on the hot seat by any means right now, but you know, if they struggle this next year, he might be. His legacy is going to be defined by Jordan Love, and you know, after what happened last year, if I'm Brian Gutekunst, am I going to hitch my wagon to Dontavian Wicks and hopefully, you know, Romeo Dobbs, you know, progressing into superstars? I think Reed is a guy. It's just maybe he's not the guy we were trying to make him into last year, but I think he can be a guy, part of it. I wouldn't be surprised if he takes another wide receiver. It's kind of all or nothing for Gutekunst. I mean, either Love's going to be the guy or he's probably not going to be the GM for more than a few years, so or maybe 2 more. And I like him. I like Gutekunst. I'm just saying, like, don't be shocked. Don't be shocked if they double dip there. If Watson doesn't return to form, which, you know, with his injury history and I don't know, you got a couple of concussions from Dobbs. I could see it, but I don't know. I like the pick, man. You know, he wasn't like number 1 on my wide receiver list, but he's got the right name for the Packers, doesn't he?
Mm-hmm.
Go Pack, go.
We got to bring back the gold zone. That's what I know. Yeah, that's been a common thought is, you know, what if we get another one in the second round or you know, like you said, double dip in the, you know, second or third, you know, day 2 kind of thing. I mean, I was struggling to decide what the biggest need is. And it sounds like for some Packer fans, not only was wide receiver the biggest need, but even if we draft a wide receiver, it's still the biggest need. I don't know. I feel like at this point, it's not our biggest need anymore. Not to say you draft based on need or whatever, but I mean, we're talking about, you know, the way you're talking about it is based on, you know, need. You know, he's worried about his job and all this stuff. I would certainly want to pivot to edge rusher, defensive tackle, cornerback at this point, if it was just down to position. If and I understand the possibility that we're just cutting all these receivers. I don't think so. Maybe Romeo, that one's a little bit weird, and maybe they don't see a future with Christian either, in which case, yeah, we are down to Reed and Wicks, although, I mean, that's 3, and I don't know that we need to, you know, go all in right now, but it could be. And if they, I think I mentioned this before, if they get a guy like Higgins or Trey Harris or somebody that feels more like an ex-receiver, it's got to make you a little bit nervous about Christian Watson because, you know, Matthew Golden is more of a Z type of receiver. He is more of a Christian Watson type of a guy. And again, these things are fluid. They're not always that simple, whatever, but still, that's where he fits a little bit better. And if you get a guy that's now going to, you know, presumably you could say, okay, well, you know, he's going to take over for Romeo and Wicks. He's going to take that X spot, and Christian's going to be your Z speed guy, and then you got your slot guy in Jaden Reed, and boom, we're good to go. That's what it is. But now you get somebody else to compete for that X job, and it's like, oh, okay. Interesting. But yeah, I don't know. I don't think that that's what's going to happen. It's not impossible. I know we've seen the double dip thing before, but I also think maybe we're getting a little greedy. You got your wide receiver in the first round. That's nice. I also heard that there's a belief that the wide receivers are going to be flying off the board in the second round, which I actually think works to our benefit. That means that edge and corner are going to continue to plummet toward us. And, you know, defensive tackle, get me that Mr. TJ down there, you know what I mean? Mr. TJ Sanders. Might not even be the right fit, but Scorton, Umanmielen, Trey Amos, Benjamin Morrison, two guys that I really started to come around to the second time around. Benjamin Morrison in particular, I really didn't like. I mean, it was kind of similar to Matthew Golden. First time through, yikes, yuck, gross, no. Second time through, kind of like Benjamin Morrison, kind of like Matthew Golden a little bit. Amos too. I like Amos. A lot of people convinced the Packers would never, because of some metrics or something, that he's not good enough. I don't know. But we'll see. We will see how that goes. All right, let's take a break. I think we're going to go backwards one more time to Beer Cheese Benny. I believe this is after the pick, and then we're going to start going forward again because we got a couple more calls from Garrett. And then we'll be all caught up on the post-pick calls. We'll take a break. We'll be right back.
We did it, man. We freaking got Matthew Golden. I'm so happy, dude. This is Beer Cheese Benny, by the way. Oh, by the way, dude, he passed on a bunch of guys. Dude. He passed. He's a terrible GM. That was a great pick, dude. I'm sorry, but I think Golden was one of the best receivers in this class, and he was one of the best available. I wouldn't have minded if they got Will Johnson. They probably have injury concerns, but maybe we can still get him in the second round. You don't know. Maybe he might drop that far. But, man, there's a lot of good options still left for us, I feel like, in the second round. And man, I got emotional with Mark Murphy coming up, announcing that pick for the first time since 2002, and everyone went crazy, dude. Oh my gosh, dude. That pick made me emotional. I don't know why, but this just feels right, Ryan. This just feels right, you know. Feels like good, you know. He righted the wrongs of the past drafting. I just think it was a great pick, man. And I don't care what anyone has to say about it. It was a great pick, so screw you. Because Goody is awesome. And the Bears still suck.
Yeah, it's going to be a fun one, man. And I'm jacked for today. I'm getting that process started. Going to find out who we've got available here. And I might do like a little pre-draft episode here just because I think it's needed. You know what I mean? You get a little short one or something. But glad you're excited about it. Hopefully that is pretty common among the Packer fan group. Seems to be, at least more so than normal.
Hey, Ryan. Welcome back to Packernet After Dark.
Yo.
Hope your family trip went great. Hope everything went smooth and nobody overdid it eating bratwurst. Hopefully nobody got tired and whiny and all that jazz. So,
no, it was all good.
I'm referring to you. I'm sure the rest of your family had a great time being around all those 205,000 people.
Yeah.
Anyways, I screamed and yelled when Murphy said, back in 2002,
yeah,
kind of sounds like a Bears fan saying 1985.
Right.
2002 was the last time and I knew it. I knew what they were doing. And have to say I'm pleasantly surprised. And I can't remember what you said what the FanDuel odds were on Green Bay taking a wide receiver.
Yeah.
But, man, I wish I'd put some money down on that one.
I know.
That sucks. But Green Bay got their guy, got a field stretcher, and we'll see what Love can do with Golden Boy. So here's to picking a wide receiver that becomes a Hall of Famer. I'm out.
Yeah, well, I had kind of talked about that. You know, the odds were so long, and I just thought, you know, maybe we're overplaying this whole wide receiver thing, or possibly the, you know, Vegas is overplaying the Packers never draft a wide receiver in the first round thing. You know, they're just not accepting the fact that it's not a requirement in Green Bay. And sure enough, either way, the odds just seem too good to not play. So if you did, good on you. If you didn't, shame on you.
Hey, Ryan, part 2. I want to give you my prediction for tonight's round 2 and round 3.
Okay.
I'm guessing that in round 2, they move up and they take either Trey Amos or a defensive end, which I'm not really sure who's going to be available and stuff, but that would be my guess for second round.
Okay.
Third round, if they don't get their defense back, then on the second round, it would hopefully be somebody close to being either a defensive tackle like Sanders, or I don't know, maybe they'd pick Jaden Higgins. Maybe Goody's getting high on those wide receiver receipts. So we'll see. I'm out.
Yeah, so the Packers pick at 54. According to the consensus big board, if I did this right, I went through and deleted who I think has been drafted. I think I got it right. There are only 2 receivers left that are considered a good value. Jaden Higgins and Luther Burden, and that's it. I don't see a scenario where they fall. Trade up, I get it, maybe. I can't imagine we give up draft. We're going to use 3 picks on 2 receivers? 3 picks on receiver? I don't think so. Contrast that with 5 edge rushers and 5 cornerbacks available. Add in defensive tackle Darius Alexander, and our other primary needs that have not been addressed are 11-2. The next closest wide receiver is Jalen Knoll out of Iowa State at 58. I don't see any way that happens. And then Trey Harris at 62. Again, I'd be ecstatic if we had Trey Harris, although less so considering we just drafted a receiver. But it's entirely possible. I really just don't think so. I don't. Corner or edge absolutely make the most sense. But we'll see. Who knows?
I almost forgot, Ryan. So I don't know when you'll play this call. But if you don't mind giving us an update on your family's mock draft, who has the best record so far through what rounds? I'm dying to hear who is winning. So give it to us straight, Ryan.
Well, I don't know. I'll have to go just find a random mock that I did because I saved the 3 mocks. I don't even remember that I told you guys this. But my youngest, my wife, and Cullen did mock drafts, and they are 0 for 3 right now through 1 round. So, let's see. We got in round 2, the predictions are Zaire Thomas, Jalen Milroe, and Benjamin Morrison. So, there's that. All right, final call, Garrett.
Ryan, if I do recall, when I found out you were going to the draft, I made a bold prediction that Green Bay would move up while you were still there and draft a wide receiver. Well, I was half right.
Mm-hmm.
They did draft a wide receiver, and I want to give credit where credit is due, and that is Cullen has crushed it 2 years in a row. That boy deserves an allowance bump in chicken nuggets. So give the boy his due. Give the boy his own podcast.
I know.
Maybe you need to rename Packernet altogether to Cullen's Crushing It.
Yeah.
So got to have him back on again and let him talk his guy up. I want to hear the excitement. I'm out.
Yeah, it's kind of cool to be able to have him do this. It's not cool to have him not really even barely involved, and he's already better at this than I am. So that's not great. I got to look at what he's got right now. Benjamin Morrison, I think, he's got a 10-point scale, but sometimes you just keep on going. You start arbitrarily at the bottom with like a 7, and by the time you get to the top, you end up with like 10.5s and 11s and stuff. He gave a 10.5 for Matthew Golden. The only other guy I think that had a 10.5 was Benjamin Morrison. Just throwing it out there. So that is Cullen's second round prediction here is Benjamin Morrison. So if this is Benjamin Morrison, holy crap. This is the ultimate Cullen draft. Other guys, he had 10 grades. He had a 10 on Carson Schwessinger, the linebacker. I think is he gone? I think James Pierce I think is gone. He had a 10 for him. Jonah Savanaia for interior offensive line, had a 10. Tight end Harold Fannin Jr., 10. Wide receiver Luther Burden, 10. Travion Henderson, running back. And Shedeur Sanders. So, there's that. So those are the guys that he had the highest grades on that are still available, with Benjamin Morrison being top dog. So we'll see how it goes. You guys have a good rest of your night. I'll talk to you later. Have a good one. Bye-bye.